Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the town board meeting at the town of Newcastle. We've been in executive session, and I'd like to ask for a motion to open the work session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, welcome, everyone. We are now in our work session. I know there are people here for the public hearing, but we have a work session scheduled in advance, so we'll hear a presentation on the Route 120 pedestrian bridge. And Rob, do you want to introduce it before we go to?
Absolutely, yeah. So Town Engineer Jeff Gaspar is here tonight. The board may remember this has been a lengthy project. We went out to bid beginning of 2025. Unfortunately, we had 3 bidders and none of them were ultimately able to complete the project as designed. So we went back to the drawing board, changed our bid specs a little bit. Went back out to bid and we had a couple bidders and we were able to select one this time. So we are nearing having a finalized plan now for the project. So Jeff will go over that for the Duck Pond Bridge and the Route 120 pedestrian bridge.
Good evening, Jeff Gaspar, town engineer.
Hi, Jeff.
Just giving you a quick status update of the Route 120 pedestrian bridge. So as Rob Deary mentioned, we awarded the bid back in, I think, January, and right now the contractor is in the phase of the project where we go over submittals and that when drawings are created, there's some detail that's left to the contractor, and right now he's submitting those details to really finalize the those fine details of the drawings. So we're just reviewing those shop drawings. Tectonics, our consultant there, they've been going back and forth mostly regarding the Duck Pond Bridge. That's really the so just to maybe go back a little bit. So the 120 pedestrian bridge was damaged back, I think it was Hurricane Irene. And the Duck Pond Bridge, which is adjacent to it, is has been closed for some time because it's deteriorated to a point where it's unsafe. So this project was bid out to replace both bridges. And again, we awarded that in January, and now we are going back and forth with the contractor on the details of the designs for those bridges. Now, they are staying generally the same same dimensions, same heights and everything. They have to be built to current building code standards, which the older ones, we didn't do analysis, but obviously new standards are likely higher than they were back when those were originally designed. Anyway, so Duck Pond Bridge is currently undergoing just shop drawing review. We went back and forth 2 or 3 times with them, but I think we'll have that sometime soon. That's really the linchpin of the project. We long ago, before I started, it was decided that we're not gonna replace both bridges at the same time. We're not gonna take both bridges out of service at the same time. So they can't replace it, they can't demo the pedestrian bridge until the Duck Pond Bridge is in place. And that just allows people to walk, basically, get to town from Douglas and Quaker. Anyway, so once the Duck Pond Bridge is replaced, then they're gonna start demo of the Route 120 pedestrian bridge. I don't know if you noticed, they cut a couple of trees down today, getting ready for the bridge replacement. There were 2 that had to be taken down on the Route 120 side, and then on the other side of the bridge, there's 2 more that have to come down. So that should be done tomorrow.
Oh, well, that's too bad. But
Yeah,
if it
well,
has
we're
to
planting new
happen-
trees. We have an ample tree fund that the environmental coordinator is gonna work out a planting plan to replace those trees that are taken down. So
Why did they have to come down? I'm not doubting it, I just.
so if you, I gave you 2 sheets. If you look at the second sheet, there's a top, it says plan.
Got it.
On the kind of the top left corner, it says remove trees, and there's 2 arrows. So the way these bridges are being installed is they're actually being installed in 3 prefabricated sections.
Got it.
So in order to those 2 trees right there, in order to the trees are very tall, they can't actually lift the bridge sections over the
That's
trees.
unfortunate.
Yeah, and then the 2 trees, if you look a little
Yeah,
bottom
you
to the
can see
left,
the
there's
bottom.
2 trees there in the middle of the foundation, the future foundation. So they had to come out to accommodate the footings for the new bridge. And like I
Thank
said,
you.
we're gonna replace them, you know.
Nearby or at the?
Oh, yeah, there's a, you know, just to the west there, there's a nice sort of open area before the duck pond. We planted a couple of trees maybe 2 years ago. We're gonna plant some more,
Thank you.
so no problem.
So what do you think the timeline is, if you dare to give
No,
us one?
that's okay, so I spoke to the contractor last week, they think they're still on target for a summer bridge replacement. It is taking a bit longer, I think, than we were expecting to work through the shop drawings. Part of that is they're actually redesigning the foundations of the main bridge. And although this may take a little bit more time, the benefits are the fact that the original plan was to close one lane of Quaker for weeks or months to accommodate the bridge foundations, to install the bridge foundations. With the new method, it looks like those closures are gonna be limited, so Quaker would stay open for the most part. They might have to do some limited closures to get equipment in and out, but that's the hope, that we don't have to close Quaker for an extended period of time, which is what would have happened with the Bill Foundation. So it takes a little bit more time. I think it's well worth the time, because we won't have to deal with Quaker Road closed for, you know, from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday for 2 months.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so things are moving, you know, our consultant's been responsive, the contractor's been responsive. It's a little more work to redesign these foundations for the main bridge than if we had
I
left
hope these guys actually do the job.
They have good experience.
I mean, you've done all you can.
Yes, they have good
all along.
experience. I'm confident, you know, we've had conversations with them, they're qualified, they have the experience, so I have
Great.
have no concerns about
They're engaged and you've had good communication since we engaged them, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, so plan is ideally replace the Duck Pond Bridge probably sometime in May or so, late May, early June maybe. And then the pedestrian bridge would probably be towards the end of the summer, maybe August, something like that.
So that's, then August, September would be when we're potentially.
Opening the bridge, you know, there's gonna be stuff that needs to get done after the fact, grading and stuff like that, but I imagine the bridge would be installed probably September at the latest.
My thought was just if we are shutting down Quaker for a little bit, it's the school buses.
The
That's
the
only
whole
thing.
the whole point of trying to get this done in the summer was to prevent school buses from having
You're a step ahead
a
of me.
detour or, we were very aware of you know, the traffic, and you know, just the town itself, there's a little bit less traffic during the summer, but definitely school buses.
And just taking it a step back, and sorry, this is a dumb question, the foundations, that was part of, like, you're talking about there were issues with the Duck Pond Bridge, redoing the foundation, that's because that's part of the deterioration.
So
they
the
were-
Duck Pond Bridge foundations we're reusing. The foundations for the Duck Pond Bridge are okay. We're really just replacing the bridge structure. So the new bridge structure is gonna be placed directly onto the existing foundations for the Duck Pond Bridge.
Got it,
The Route 120 pedestrian bridge,
that's what I mean.
that right now, there's the foundation for the bridge, they have wood timber piles at, you know, somewhere between 5 and 8 feet on center. Those are getting all removed, and we're installing they call them mini piles. They're basically steel reinforced concrete piles that are drilled into the rock there.
And the hope is, I mean, you guys have thought this through, that while that's out, somebody who wants to walk into town from like Kip or down Quaker, they're gonna cross the Duck Pond Bridge,
Correct.
just walk on Douglas for a little bit.
Yeah, it's, you know, Douglas is, it's
It's
not
not a
ideal to work on.
perfect solution, but it's the best one we have.
It's, yep,
We-
it makes
Better
sense,
than no access.
100%.
So that's the thought behind that. So if you have any questions, feel free.
I live off of Douglas, I get asked about this bridge all the time, as Rob well knows, so I really appreciate, that's why I'm asking all those questions, these are questions I'm getting from residents, so thank you so much.
Absolutely, yeah, like I said, you know, things are on schedule for that timeline right now.
Phenomenal.
Duck Pond Bridge for, you know, late spring and or early summer, and for 120 pedestrian bridge, hopefully completed by end of October, early September.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you,
I'm
Jeff.
sorry, end of August, early.
End of August, yeah, thank you. And thank you, Rob, because I know this has been long in coming. We've had a lot of false starts through no fault of our own or the staff, but thank you for sticking with this, and
Yeah, and one
get done.
correction, it was Isaias, I think, an I named storm, but
Oh,
Irene
okay.
was an older
Okay,
one,
so
so
it was-
Isaias was
okay, so it's not as
was
bad
more
as
recent.
as it sounds. Good.
Yeah, but no, Jeff stepped in, this process has gone on so long that Bob Cioli started it
Yeah.
and Jeff kind of stepped in the middle and is carrying it to the end, so.
It ought to be simple, but as we discovered, not a lot of contractors had experience with bridges.
That was exactly
So
it.
that's the problem.
Couple that bid that had no experience with this type of construction.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, me too, me too. I love getting projects done and, you know, we're getting started soon, so
This is a valuable one to the community.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
much anticipated, thanks.
All right. Okay, Rob, do you wanna go through the administrative items?
Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. We have two retroactive payment of claims, one for a check run dated March 13th and one March 18th. We have the adoption of the monthly reports from February of 2026, adoption of the meeting minutes from February 2026, the authorization to attend the Cornell Local Roads Program, their annual highway school for Department of Public Works. We're sending one foreman. The meeting is, the program is June 1st to 3rd, and a total cost not to exceed $750. We have the authorization to approve the annual ECI contractual increase for 2026 for contract operations at the Millwood Water Treatment Plant. That's Veolia is our water treatment plant operator. The ECI increase for 2026 is 3.4%. That makes the operation of the plant $110,000, $110,372.52. That is a monthly cost, and they also manage the Hudson Hills Pump Station at a monthly cost of $2,789.51. We have the authorization to purchase Quick View Air HD Zoom camera system for DPW so that they can see inside of some of the piping that they need to look into. That's Joe Johnson Equipment Company. That cost is not to exceed $21,137. They're using the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative to purchase that. We have the authorization to approve the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation annual operation and maintenance payment. The net cost for us this year, $6,477.79. That includes a credit of $3,480.29. We were given credit for a stabilization project on Court Mill Road that helped defray the cost for this year. We have the authorization to approve the banner request for the Friends of Chappaqua Library book sale taking place May 11th through May 17th. We have an authorization to enter into an agreement with Chappaqua Central School District for a summer camp program running at that school from June 29th to August 7th. Cost is $651 per day.
That's gonna be at West Orchard?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, it rotates every year, I think,
Yeah.
depending on the maintenance needs of the school district. But we appreciate their cooperation. We have the authorization to enter into an agreement with the Seven Bridges Swim Club. That's to run our swimming portion of our summer camp. Total cost for the summer is $12,715. We have the authorization to utilize New York SID for the annual avian control applications at Gedney Park. They're estimating this year's applications. This is geese control, 2 to 3 applications at $2,500 per application. This is required under the MS4 permit to reduce some of the keeping the geese droppings from entering into the Gedney Pond. We have the authorization to enter into a 5-year planned maintenance agreement for the Inningwood Road Pump Station. For the generator there, that's with Cummins Sales and Service, $3,849.19 annually. We have the authorization to use town property for the Girl Scouts for their annual cookie sale. They will be using the train station parking lot. Just one troop at a time, I'm told, every Saturday from April 11th through June 13th.
Rob, I think they wanted to use Gedney as well.
They did, we talked internally and we haven't allowed the use of Gedney Park for sales of anything in the past. So we wanted to stay consistent with what we had done before. I guess it is the board's option, but we have, we had a discussion internally, and we don't recall any situations where we've permitted
So this
sales.
would open us up to other requests?
It would seem,
you
we've
think?
had requests to do that,
What's
and
the
we've
girls-
turned them down in the
okay.
past. I know,
Well, I'll talk to them and I'll see how important
okay.
that is to them. I
Okay.
mean, I think it would be at our option, would we be legally obligated to
Lena,
open it up? I mean, yeah,
Have to.
yeah. Well, if we can, I'm inclined to let them. It's just the kids and, you know, if that has to be the demarcation line, that we let the kids sell their Girl Scout cookies.
Okay.
But I can reach out to them and see how important.
If
that
the
is to
board
them.
wants to approve it, they can. We
Yeah.
were just, staff was just looking for consistency,
I
that's all,
understand.
that's all.
Yeah.
You were trying to make it so we didn't have to say no to the Girl Scouts. You were protecting us from being the bad guys.
So I'm complicating it, okay.
I was gonna be the
Alright.
bad guy, but okay. We have the authorization to approve CVAC's 2025 LoSAP service credits. This is an annual process. This is the first step in the process. They have submitted their service credits for 2025. Board approves it, it goes back to CVAC for posting. If there are no disputes, the board will finalize that, I believe in May. And then they'll get recorded. We have a resolution approving the agreement and authorizing the payment regarding 220 and 230 Joan Corwin Way. And we have an authorization to set a public hearing on 50 North Greeley for Tuesday, April 14th of 2026.
Okay, people will be very happy to hear that we have an application that we can entertain for 50 North Greeley, the former Rite Aid site, which is currently the old Rite Aid building site, very unsightly, so we hope to get that moving along. Okay, that's it for the work session. So may I have a motion to close the work session and open up the town board meeting?
I move to close the work session and start the town board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, we're hereby at our town board meeting. Rob, do you have any announcements?
I don't have any announcements, no.
Okay, people are waiting, so I will hold my supervisor's report for the newsletter. Anything for your report?
I have a few items, they were in the newsletter last week, but I did wanna mention them in public. A couple of financial related items, so we
Oh,
did,
yeah.
the town did receive the Government Finance Officer Association Award for our financial statements. This makes 29 years in running. And the other great piece of news, the town has a bond issuance this week on Thursday. As a precursor to that, we have a rating phone call with Moody's. We state our case, present our financials, and they make a determination. They have once again awarded the town the AAA rating. We've always had that, or at least in my experience with the town, my 19 years, we've always had a AAA, so we do maintain that for this bond issuance, which does help with, we have the best rates with a AAA bond rating. So I wanna thank Carl and in particular Diana, who I'm losing towards the end of April, unfortunately. She's been a big part of all the success in the comptroller's office, both when I was there and continuing under Carl. So I appreciate all their hard work and their dedication to maintaining the standards that we've upheld for a while.
Yeah, and thank you, Rob. You were our town controller for many, many years and you maintained those standards really well, so you deserve a lot of the praise. And I know that the award that we get annually is not to be taken for granted. Not every town gets that award. It's an award for exceptional financial statements. And so that one in particular was for 2024, I believe.
2024, yeah.
So that's still when you were town controller,
Okay, yeah,
right? So
fair enough,
you
yes.
still get the credit for that, but we also thank Carl, who took over and is doing a great job. So we've had we've been very fortunate to have great staff here, so just wanna recognize that and thank you.
A couple other items. One, the board approved, I think at the last meeting, the firm GPRS, used to be New York Leak Detection, to perform their annual inspection of the town's water system to search for leaks. What happens is they come out overnight and they actually have listening devices so that they can hear any water that's running through the pipes when it shouldn't be. April 6th, they will begin to be in town. So as I did last year, I will send out an e-alert and I'll have actually a picture of the van that they'll use. So if you see them around town in your neighborhoods overnight, they're legitimate. It's a marked van. You won't see a white van sitting out in front. It will be marked, but we've used this firm for many years and they help us to detect leaks and keep our the amount of water that we lose to a minimum.
Great.
Finally, for the administrator's report, I don't wanna make her cry, but after about close to 8 years with the town, Lauren Cascone, my assistant, is moving on to I don't know if greener pastures, different pastures, but she will be missed. I wanna thank Lauren for 8 years and in particular this last year, in my transition from the comptroller's office to the administrator's office. I couldn't have done any of the work that I've done without her assistance, and probably more than anyone, I will miss her. So, yeah, I don't wanna make you cry again, but
I'll miss you too, Lauren.
Best of luck.
Yeah, Lauren has done a lot of work and you've been going back and forth between the town administrator's office and the town clerk's office, and it's been a lot, and I just wanna thank you. You've always done your work so thoroughly and always cheerfully, and it's been a real pleasure to work with you. So I know you'll be here for a while longer, but we'll be accepting your resignation today reluctantly. So best of everything to you in your next chapter. Okay.
And that's all I
That's
have.
it? Okay. All right, so now we've reached our public comment period. This is not the public hearing. This is public comments for other matters. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to make a public comment? Okay. Is there anyone online for public comment other than the Best Systems public hearing? No hands are raised. Okay, so now we will open up the public hearing on battery energy storage systems. May I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so do we have a sheet going for people? Has anyone signed in? Okay, so I should have said this at the beginning. So for anyone wishing to make a public comment, which I believe is probably everyone here, please write your name and have we not started it? Okay. So please write your name on the sheet of paper and we will call you up. So as you know, this public hearing is an opportunity for the board to simply hear your comments. It's not a Q&A period. You have the current proposed legislation. This was enacted through a moratorium on BESS systems, which we enacted as a proactive measure. It was not in response to any particular legislation or rumors of a facility being set up anywhere in town. This was meant to apply to everywhere in the town of Newcastle, and it was a proactive step. So I just want people to know that there have been no applications in town for a BESS system. So we are keeping an open mind. We will listen to all viewpoints, and everyone is welcome to give their opinion. And also, if you have very lengthy presentations, please feel free to send those to us. We have limited time here, and so we welcome written feedback as well as verbal feedback at the microphone. Sabrina and Lino, do you want to add anything before we start?
Yeah, no, you said it, Supervisor, again, it's a public hearing, we're here to hear the public in terms of what they have in terms of comments with respect to the current draft of the local law. And again, depending what the board wants to do, they have the option to close the public hearing, continue it, depending on the public comment you receive tonight.
Okay. Sabrina, do you wanna give a little background for anyone who hasn't
Sure.
been following?
Sure, happy to do so. In February 2025, we adopted the moratorium to prohibit the review and approval of applications to permit battery energy storage systems throughout the town. Since that time, town staff and town council worked with fire and EMS professionals and other regional entities to try and learn as much as we could from their perspectives and really work to create a draft law that was consistent with the New York State, with NYSERDA, with their model best law, and as a basis for the town's draft law. So we had a good foundation of information from a lot of different folks to help us craft a law. We originally, as you know, drafted a permissive law which would have allowed tier best systems in town, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. However, as we were working on the law and in speaking with our neighbors and really trying to look at the land use in the town, we realized that 97% of our land use was residentially zoned. That there were public safety concerns in working with fire and EMS that they apprised us to and really changed the direction of the town's legislation. So we went from a permissive law to a prohibitive law. The law that is subject to tonight's public hearing is a law that will allow tier 1 best systems through a building permit process, but it prohibits the siting of tier 2 and tier 3 systems throughout the town. The New York State Building Code already allows the permitting of tier 1 best systems, which are residential applications, and you see some of them around town today. Associated with solar in our town. We're asking that through this law to separate the tier 1 from solar, but not to allow tier 2 and tier 3. I think that's it.
Yeah, just to echo one other thing that Sabrina said, so I've done both sides of these transactions, the municipal and on the development side, and I in speaking with some of my colleagues, who sit where I sit in various municipal governments, I know a lot of our surrounding neighbors have banned these types of facilities. I know there's one that allowed them previously and then went out to ban them. And then, or I know Mount Pleasant, they do not allow them at all. So then those are recent developments within the past year of that legislation being enacted in those municipalities. But again, just speaking to other town attorneys and on this issue, they and those communities have banned best systems. Again, with limited exceptions, because some of them had systems already that now have been grandfathered, but in terms of new best systems in those communities, they do not allow them.
Do you have a comment?
Do we wanna speak to how tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 were defined? Just because there've been some questions about.
I'd rather have the public comment first, then we can talk about that, yeah.
Right, I mean, tier 1 is properly defined. We need to define tiers 2 and 3.
Yep.
Which in the proposed legislation is not.
We
Yeah.
received comments and there are
Hopefully
definitely
it's
comments
mentioned
such
there.
as the
You'll let me know.
definitions that will be incorporated into a redrafting. So once you receive all the public comments and you close the public hearing, we will then review all of the public comments and identify areas that could be changed in this draft law and then give you back a red line version to decide what you would want to change. One of the areas that really is a necessary change is including the definitions of tier 1, 2, and 3.
The tier 1 definition in the current proposal is complete, is it not?
It is complete. It
Okay,
is complete.
So what's not there is the tier 2 and 3, which is important, but it's a non-substantive provision considering that if we go with the proposed legislation, it's not allowing those tiers, so
The
that.
state building code defines tier 2s and 3.
I'm sorry?
The state building code defines those tiers.
Yes, right now, all of the definitions regarding the definition of tier 1, 2, and 3 are defined by New York State building codes.
Right,
So
correct.
we keep it consistent between what the state defines it as and what we define it as. We will just need to include it in our code.
Right, and that's not going to require a new
No.
round of
No.
setting legislation with
No.
public hearings. Okay, so we're ready to start. I would like to call up Sandra Stein, please. I know I said your name, but you're supposed to identify yourself and your place of residence.
Thank you very much. Madam Supervisor and Town Board members, my name is Sandra Stein and I'm a resident of the town of Newcastle. I support the town's proposed ban on large-scale BESS facilities, and I'm encouraging once again our town board members to adopt that ban. I shared my position during last month's town board meeting, and I'm here again tonight to once again respectfully request that you ban these large-scale BESS facilities. 4 days ago, 2 Adirondack Park town boards voted Thursday night to implement one-year moratoriums on building these battery energy storage systems. Those towns were the towns of St. Armand and of Northampton. The facility in question in St. Armand is a proposed 20 megawatt facility in a residential location. The proposal at 82 Shingle House Road that I spoke about last month is for a 273.5 megawatt facility. With respect to St. Armand, the fire chief there, Michael Woodruff, was quoted as saying that the battery fires don't require special chemicals to extinguish. We discussed some of that last month. And the objective is to flood them with water to keep them cool. And many experts who spoke last month, who were former FDNY members, spoke to that point as well. But this fire chief of St. Armand went on to say, but if you can't get them cool, they're just going to keep rolling. If the battery fire breaches a facility this size, it's going to be a long day. So just as a reminder here, what happens when these batteries catch fire? We know that battery fires can be caused when a battery cell short circuits. It leads to chemical reaction that makes heat increase uncontrollably. These fires release hazardous chemicals into the air when they burn, and they can sometimes take days to extinguish. One chemical that can be produced when these batteries combust is hydrogen fluoride, which can cause burns if it comes into contact with skin and irritation to the eyes, nose, and throat. Other substances that can also be released include cobalt, manganese, and those chemicals that we all often talk about and refer to as forever chemicals. In addition, when a battery fire is being extinguished with water, these substances can also contaminate our soil and groundwater. So these are the risks, ultimately, that the residents of the town of Newcastle are going to have to deal with if this legislation does not move forward in its current state. Again, we're dealing with soil and groundwater contamination from chemical leakage, firefighting runoff containing toxic substances, and gradual pollution from battery degradation. One of the things that I took note of last month when I attended this meeting was of the individuals who are not from our town and came to speak on this. And what I had noticed was that, again, I'm speaking about the ones specifically who are not our town members. And what I had noticed about them was they all left before the board had adjourned for the evening. They all left. Everyone who was from outside of our community who came here in support of these Tier 3 facilities was gone. And the people that remained were the people of the town of Newcastle. We were the ones who stayed till the end. And I thought that was extremely illustrative and indicative of a lot of things. And at the end of the day, ultimately for me, it was recognition that everyone is an interested party in some respect. For me, I saw that statement as a statement that they were here as interested parties because they're interested in the battery storage facility process itself, whether it's because of the power side of it or because of the financial side of it. Well, I'm here and I'm standing here tonight and I recognize that I too am an interested party here. But I'm interested here for a different reason. I'm an interested party because my husband and I chose to move to this community. We chose to come here. We contribute to it financially. We contribute to it in other ways as well. Our children are invested here socially and educationally. And as a family here, we have family members that also contribute to the volunteer emergency services of the town of Newcastle on both the Chappaqua side and on the Millwood side as well. We are the ones who may have to have our school shut down because of an incident at a BESS storage facility. We are the ones who may have to face evacuation, and we are the ones who may have to deal with our first responders being overextended, overstretched. Not these interested parties, because they can go home before any of this falls on their lap. So I just want to reiterate a point that I made last month, which is that communities that are residential like ours are simply not the kinds that are suited for these kind of facilities. And I once again most respectfully urge our town board members to support the town's proposed ban on large-scale BESS facilities. Thank you all.
Thank you. I would like to call Zachary Bergman.
Good evening. I just want to thank you for putting the legislation for putting it.
Can you,
Yes.
state your name,
Yes.
place of residence?
Sorry, slightly nervous.
Sorry.
Zachary Bergman, I live at 37 Shingle House Road. I spoke last time I was here. I just want to state my continuing support for the legislation as proposed and ask that an eye be kept towards both who's here today, as Sandra indicated, people who have signed up to speak today are all people who would be affected by this, who live in the immediate vicinity of one of the few places in town where a large utility scale BESS system could arguably be placed were it the zoning to permit it. It is a real concern for everybody in the area. And I would also ask that when drafting and fine tuning the legislation that an eye be kept towards ensuring and trying to get ahead of any issues of preemption that may arise, whether from Con Ed or anybody else who may be an interested party and try to put in a system down the line. Again, although there have been no permits put in yet for these systems in town, we do understand that has been contemplated in the past, and we just want to ensure that those in town who could and would be affected by such systems are able to rest assured that the town will do what it can to stop them from coming in. And again, I'm fully in support of tier 1 and having permitting for tier 2 where it makes sense to do so, but utility scale tier 3 I really think doesn't belong in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacqueline Rain.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Rhines. I live on Shingle House Road.
Hello.
Hello. Town supervisor, members of the board and the town, thank you for hosting this today. I join my fellow neighbors and Newcastle residents that have already spoken this evening in my support of this legislation and banning large-scale battery facilities in the town of Newcastle. As others have stated, Newcastle is 97% residential, and while you'll be hard-pressed to find any resident in Newcastle who doesn't recycle a container or bring a tote bag to Whole Foods, a large-scale battery facility is actually not sustainable to the communities that they are placed in, the facilities. For example, one day I was driving past a road sign, I'm a little nervous, let me slow down. I was driving past a sort of garage sale on my block and a house that I've always admired in the 2 years I've been here. It's a beautiful home. It's from the 1700s. It has a large pond in the front. The owners would put up wildlife crossing in the spring so people wouldn't hit the migratory birds or turtles. It's really lovely. The home is one of the oldest homes in Newcastle. There are carriage houses and walking trails, and a little bit of it, just a little, borders the Con Ed substation. But you wouldn't know it if you were walking this property. And they were having a garage sale. So I drove there and I introduced myself to my neighbors, and I was eager to find out about who was moving in, perhaps a new family that my children could grow up with. And my heart skipped a beat and my stomach dropped when the sellers, my neighbors, told me that they sold their home to an anonymous LLC. This home that's been in the residents of Newcastle for almost 300 years now belongs to a corporation. The corporation was represented by a lawyer who essentially knocked on their door and said, "Name your price," and they did, and it was matched. So this family left, and now this house is out of the residents' hands forever. And I did some research, and who bought it? An energy company. And the energy company wants to build a 275 megawatt facility. That is the equivalent to 300 tractor trailers carrying of energy. This is in a half mile of Gedney Park. It's down the street from West Orchard Elementary School. Last meeting, there were experts here that said that fires are not regularly occurring at BESS facilities. That's not true. I Googled it. I found 10 cited sources of fires that have happened between March 2025 and January 2026. Last night in Kerrsville, North Carolina, a BESS facility in a residential community caught fire for the 4th time since 2022. When these catch on fire, you either let them burn or you use forever chemicals. Our homes' values will plummet, our water sources will be contaminated, our air quality will be destroyed, and the worst thing is it's being slapped and labeled as sustainable. These facilities have a lifespan of 5 to 15 years. So when they are no longer in use or value, you have a parking lot of empty lithium batteries that the science has not caught up to on what to do with them. So while there were paid experts and lobbyists that were here last month, I urge the town board, please listen to the constituents that are here today. There are people here that do not care about the quality of life for the people, the animals, the community, but we do. We are not against battery energy. We understand how it's important to the greater good, but putting it in a residential community is absolutely dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you. Rose Pauline.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Rose Polino and I live at 74 Shingle House Road. And I'm gonna read what I wrote off my phone if that's okay.
Just make sure you're speaking to the mic.
Yes, oh, sorry, okay. So the purpose of my presence here today is to make clear that, to the town, that a BESS facility does not belong in our residential community. As mentioned, we live at 74 Shingle House Road, which is immediately north of 82 Shingle House Road, the proposed site of a BESS facility. For context, there are 2 homes directly south of 82 Shingle House Road, and to the north are our home in 70 Shingle House Road, which we share a driveway with our neighbors. As you continue along Shingle House Road, there are numerous homes on both sides of the street. In short, this is a residential street. By way of background, I am a licensed professional engineer and an environmental engineer. My expertise includes soil, groundwater, surface water, and air pollution. Based on this experience, I understand the potential risks and harms associated with a BESS facility. In the event of a fire or explosion, which as documented can occur with these facilities, there would be significant risks to both public health and the environment. Such an incident could release toxic fumes, causing the evacuation of nearby residents and institutions, including the West Orchard Elementary School and of course the nearby Gedney Park. More critically, BESS fires are not easily extinguished using conventional methods such as water. Fire departments often may rely on specialized suppression agents such as AFFF, which is aqueous film foaming, fire foaming, to control these types of fires. Even then, such fires can burn for extended periods even after using AFFF. To put this into perspective, lithium-ion battery fires, such as those in electric vehicles, are already challenging to extinguish. I think some of us have seen a Tesla burning on the side of the road. A BESS facility contains a vastly larger concentration of these batteries, significantly increasing the scale and complexity of any potential fire event, as well as the risk of spreading to surrounding homes and wooded areas. The use of AFFF, introduces additional environmental concerns. The foam contains PFAS, commonly referred to as forever chemicals, which are associated with serious health risks such as cancer. If deployed, these substances could contaminate soil, groundwater, and nearby surface waters, including Lake Millwood, which is actually directly across from the proposed property. There's also potential risk to the aqueduct system located behind our properties, which supplies drinking water from the Catskill region to Millwood and onto New York City. The potential environmental and public health consequences are significant. Facilities of this nature belong in appropriately zoned industrial areas, not within residential neighborhoods like Shingle House Road or within other locations in Newcastle, which is predominantly residential, as I think we said, 97% residential. If a commercial operation such as a large retail store were proposed, say for Shingle House Road or Roaring Brook Road or Quaker Ridge Road, it would not be permitted due to zoning and community impact. It is difficult to understand then why a best facility with far greater potential risks, flammability, explosion hazards, and environmental contamination would be considered appropriate for our town. For these reasons, I strongly urge the town to reject any proposed facility, of course, at 82 Shingle Road, as well as anywhere in our town, and pass regulation that prohibits best facilities in our town of Newcastle. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all I have on my list. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to come up? Yeah, please do. Hey, George. State your name, George.
I'm
Place
George
of residence.
Benak. I'm the president of the Chappaqua Library, and I've lived in Millwood for 30 years. Grew and raised my family here. Taught at Horace Greeley High School for 28 out of my 36 years teaching. I want to say that the people who are proposing this battery storage system, they are saying this and they're proposing it as a way to gather renewable energy and store it to meet our future needs in the future, going into the decades ahead. But none of them live near here. None of them are saying that they want it built in backyard, and this is not simply not in my backyard philosophy. This shouldn't be built in anybody's backyard. The chance for an accident to occur that's going to release toxins that have been said before by people ahead of me is a real possibility. And for it to be less than 100 feet from water systems and other people's homes is just a reckless recipe for disaster. The 5 people in my family have had the pleasure and honor of voting for all 3 of you. We will be watching how you vote on this. It's important that we voted for you because we felt that you shared the values that we want in our community. And we hope that you'll continue to do so. This may have a place. It's not on Shingle House Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience for comment? Okay. Is there anyone online for the public hearing?
We do have one hand online.
Okay. Hello, Sheila?
Yeah, hi, hello, how are you guys doing?
Very
My
well,
name
thank
is
you.
Sheila and I'm at 33 Shingle House Road in Millwood, New York. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My portion is gonna be very short, but I'm here to clearly state my opposition to the BESS system in our residential community. I don't believe this is the right project for this location, and approving it would introduce unnecessarily and avoidable risk to residents. First, there's a public safety concern that are significant and well documented. Lithium-ion battery storage system carry the risk of thermal runaway Fires that are difficult to extinguish can burn for a prolonged period and release toxic gas in the surrounding area. These are not routine incidents. They require specialized training and equipment. And I would ask the board directly, is our local fire department fully equipped and trained to safely manage these type of events if it were to occur? If the answer is anything less than a confident yes, then this project should not be approved in a residential zone. Secondly, this is an industrial infrastructure being placed in a residential neighborhood. These facilities operate continuously and they bring noise, large-scale equipment, safety risks, and visual impact that are incompatible with the character and expectation of a residential community. Once this is approved, this sets a precedent that opens the door for similar projects in the future, fundamentally changing our neighborhood over time. Third, there are serious unanswered questions about long-term responsibility and liability. These systems have a limited lifespan, and at the end of the lifespan, or if something goes wrong, who is responsible for the equipment and addressing any environmental damage? Without ironclad enforceable protection in place, the risk ultimately shifts to the town and its residents. This is not being against renewable energy. Most people in our town, and I'm in favor of renewable energy, is about responsible city. Infrastructure of this scale and this belong in appropriate zone industrial area, not in the middle of any residential neighborhood. Thus, for this reason, I strongly urge the board to reject this proposal in the current location or in any location in Chappaqua or Millwood area. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Online, I see now Stephen Hoffinson.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, can you please state your place of residence?
Sure. Hi, my name is Stephen Hoffinson.
We just lost you for a second. Can you start over? I think you're on.
Yes.
Can you start over, please? Sorry.
Sorry, my internet connection's been going off today. Hopefully it stays. Madam Chairman, members of the board, members of the community, thank you very much for having this hearing. My name is Stephen Hoffinson. I live at 50 Shingle House Road. And I am speaking, as everyone else has so far, in support of the ban of large-scale battery energy storage systems. I spoke at the last meeting. I want to remind you briefly of my background. I have a PhD in mechanical engineering with a focus on systems optimization, and I spent many years as an academic researching energy systems, sustainable systems. So I'm very familiar with this. I'm very committed to sustainability in my life and in my career. But I just want to reiterate what many other people have said. These are not sustainable for our community. There are bad negative impacts to the environment, to the ecosystems, and there are negative impacts to our people, which is very important. The other thing I want to mention and state again is that we don't want to be the only community in Westchester that doesn't ban these things. If every other neighboring community does ban these things, we're a big target for those companies that want to put us in there. So I really think that we should move forward with banning any sort of tier 3 systems. I don't care what happens with the tier 2 and the language on that, but thank you for hearing me. Please ban large-scale battery energy storage systems.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Brandon Kavanaugh. I think your name is cut off on the screen, but can you please fully identify yourself and your place of residence?
Sure, thanks everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. My name is Brandon Kavanaugh. I live in Chappaqua on Hardscrabble. So I'm here today to speak on behalf of the Newcastle Conservation Board, so thank you again for giving us that opportunity. We did submit the comments in advance, and given the document is 4 pages, I'm not going to read all 4 pages verbatim here. But just to kind of give a bit of context of where we're coming from. But first, I just wanted to thank the board for giving us, the Conservation Board, the opportunity to speak with you the other day. And so on that, I'll get right to it. So the Conservation Board has reviewed the Town Board's proposed local law governing battery energy storage systems We believe that making it straightforward for Newcastle homeowners to install residential battery storage is good environmental policy, and we appreciate that the town is creating a clear regulatory framework to encourage it. Our comments focus on the environmental dimensions of Tier 1 residential BESS, what the proposed law gets right, where we see an opportunity to strengthen it, and a few practical considerations we think the town should have on its radar as residential battery adoption grows across the community. We note the important reality that any new disturbance to the environment should be taken into consideration. So the environmental case for residential BESS in Newcastle is strong and impacts our community close to home. And so we want to just put residential BESS in an environmental context because we think the benefits are easy to understate. The most obvious environmental benefit is reduced reliance on carbon-based energy, but there's a second benefit that is specific to Newcastle and visible to anyone who's lived here through a significant storm. Specifically, when the power goes out, our neighbors feel the noise and exhaust of gas and diesel generators and the carbon emissions of gas, diesel, and propane generators. And the smell of exhaust and the constant engine drone and the carbon monoxide concerns and the greenhouse gas emissions. These are not abstractions, they're lived, harmful, and toxic environmental reality of power outages in a community like ours. So widespread residential BESS adoption would change that. A home with a battery system does not need a combustion generator, and as more Newcastle households install battery storage, outages become quieter, cleaner, and less disruptive for everyone, not just the homeowner who made the investment. This is a genuine community-wide positive externality, and we encourage the town board to keep it in mind as it calibrates the permitting framework. Every unnecessary barrier to Tier 1 residential installation has an environmental cost that is easy to overlook. So I just wanted to give that overall context, and then just, I'm not going to get into detail on our recommendations, but just read the 4 headlines. So our recommendation, the first is to consider the protection of our soil, groundwater, and wells in the permitting materials. Second recommendation is around end-of-life battery disposal that deserves a place in the permitting conversation. Third recommendation is outdoor BESS installations should be subject to the town's stormwater compliance and impervious surface review requirements. And then finally, recommendation number 4 is increased wetland scrutiny, fire suppression runoff, and the proximity to water courses. So in conclusion, and then I'll stop. So the Conservation Board believes the town board has taken a thoughtful first step with this proposed law. Residential battery storage is on balance a clear environmental positive for Newcastle, for our air quality, our carbon footprint, our noise environment during outages, and our community's resilience. So we offer these comments and recommendations not to slow that progress, but to help ensure that the environmental impact framework is as well considered as the technology it is meant to encourage. And it would be our pleasure to participate in any advisory working groups that may be created to further understand and explore the benefits and concerns raised by the prospect of increased use of BESS in Newcastle. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and again, we submitted the full written comments. Should you
sorry,
like to
can I
read them?
ask,
Appreciate it.
just for a point of clarification?
Yes.
So your comments are limited to the Tier 1 proposal?
That is correct.
Which
Exactly
we're
right.
allowing in the proposed legislation, and you are not addressing Tier 2 or recommending Tiers 2 or 3?
That's exactly right. We're
Sorry,
signing
I
on
just
Tier
want to
2 and
clarify,
3.
okay,
Yes,
thank you, sorry to interrupt if you weren't.
not at all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, is there anyone else online for for the public hearing? Is that it? Do you see any other hands raised, not on the screen? Okay. Last call for anyone in person before we close the hearing. Actually, we're not closing the hearing today.
It's up to you, I mean, you close it, or if you wanna keep it open, you can keep it open, but that's up to the board.
I would like to keep it open.
I agree.
Especially because we have 2 of our board members not here today. So I would like to make a motion to continue the public hearing and reopen it on March 24th. Our next meeting is March,
I mean, not March.
No, April.
I'm sorry, April. I meant to say the motion to continue on April 24th.
28.
14th.
No, we
Which
don't
one
want,
after that?
we don't want it to
28th.
be
Okay.
on the 20th.
Okay.
I see, I have notes from last time, sorry. April 28th. our next meeting is April 14th, I believe. So we're not going to do it then. We have another public hearing on 50 North Greeley. So we're going to continue this on April 28th. Okay? All right, so may I have a motion to, Lena, I don't wanna close it, what is
You know, just a
what is the
motion to
proper?
just a motion to continue the public hearing to April 28th, which is a date certain to that meeting.
Okay, may I have such motion?
I have such motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that will end today's session. I wanna thank everyone who came, took the time to come and speak to us and share your opinions. We really highly appreciate your doing so and coming up to speak. I know it's not always easy to come up and speak in public, but we thank you for your participation and we thank everyone who came online as well. Okay, all right, so now we will continue our meeting. And I think so, Rob, you've gone through the consent agenda.
Yes.
The proposed actions will be in our resolutions, so we can get to our resolutions. Eric, do you wanna start us off?
Sure, I'm move to adopt the items 1 through 15 as listed on the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
I move
Go
to retroactively approve the payment of claims in the amount of $825,087.81. Listed on the summary AP check register and detail voucher details report. Checks were printed and distributed each claimant listed on Friday, March 13th, 2026.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Keep going?
keep going, yeah.
Alright, I move to retroactively approve the payments of claims in the amount of $264,495.11 listed on the summary AP check register and detail voucher details report. Checks were printed and distributed to each claimant listed on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just do up to 5, I think there are 10 of them, so.
Going up to 5?
Yeah.
Alright, I move to authorize the hiring of Victoria Bellevue for the position of part-time intermediate clerk within the town clerk / receiver of taxes department at the rate of $20 per hour effective March 23rd, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
congratulations.
Yes.
I move to accept the, are we sure with this one?
No, I don't
We
know,
can skip
but
it.
I think we,
Alright, I move to
don't wanna
accept the resignation of Lauren Cascone from the position of Assistant Town Administrator effective April 17th, 2026. The town would like to thank Lauren for her 8 years of service. Lauren, thank you.
thank you, Lauren, thanks again.
Thank you with a sad second.
Okay, all in favor? Sadly, aye.
And then I move to authorize the posting and hiring for the position of Secretary to the Town Administrator or Assistant to the Town Administrator at the annual salary ranging from $100,000 to $130,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Holly?
I move to authorize the hiring of Fernando Rosas for the position of laborer within the Department of Public Works Water Union at the rate of $21 per hour effective May 13th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the hiring of the following individuals for the position of recreation attendant to serve as 2026 summer camp staff at the rates indicated below effective June 1st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the hiring of Isabella Wang for the position of PTA recreation attendant within the Recreation and Parks Department for the basketball program and special events at the rate of $20 per hour effective April 8th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I move to authorize the reappointment of the following individuals as members of the Arts and Culture Committee for a 2-year term, effective retroactively from February 13th, 2026 through December 31st, 2028.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for re-upping on arts and culture.
And I move
One more.
to authorize the hiring of Carl Short for the position of 4th grade police officer within the Town of Newcastle Police Department at the annual salary of $84,728.39 effective March 30th, 2026. This resolution revises the previous one adopted on January 20th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We are hereby adjourned. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
everybody.
much, everyone.
Thanks.
Have a good night.